Hey guys, this is Anna Shadowick. I wanted to do a video tonight, um, kind of explaining sigil creation. I want to start doing, I want to say 2 to 3 videos a week, um, kind of with varying subjects, but one of the subjects I want to really consistently stick with is explaining sigils that I create. So this sigil I'm actually calling the Arms of Orion. If there are any Prince fans out there, you'll know when he did the Batman soundtrack to the first Batman, Tim Burton's with Michael Keaton. He had a song on there called Arms of Orion. If you've been following Instagram and Facebook, you'll know currently my father is going, kind of entering the final stages of his life. Today's been a particularly difficult day. He has decided on his own volition, and it's the right choice for him, so I'm trying to back that as best I can. But he has decided to go into hospice. He's kind of over the treatments and over possible surgeries and just kind of wants to be comfortable and enjoy what there is left. And that's been a really difficult thing, I'm sure, for him to come to the conclusion of, but also the rest of us kind of trying to be there for him and support him. And the song Arms of Orion, Prince was a major connector to my father and me growing up. And even to this day, it's, as a musician, my father really idolized Prince, and his music kind of bridged a gap that seemed to grow between us. We didn't always have the best of relationships, so it was really, really one of those things we could always connect to. And Arms of Orion, which is kind of an unknown song, we actually learned together how to sing. He would always sing, and I've been known to sing. And I remember we took a camping trip up in Stillwater, and you could rent out a teepee in this campground. So you wouldn't have to bring your own tent. You could just rent that campsite out. And so he did that a couple of summers. He did that a couple summers, but one of those summers we stayed a few days, and every night he would play his boombox and we would go over and over and over and pick apart the song. And it's really, I think that was a major step for me in my music. I studied singing for quite some time and learned by rote my whole life, so it was always kind of that learning to memorize certain ways of notes going and really focusing on how my throat worked and how my breathing worked to get certain sounds and to reach certain notes. And that those couple of nights that were spent on that campsite learning the song with my dad was a major contributor to how I have learned how to sing. So a lot of my creations these last few days have been very focused on this process I'm going through with grief, with kind of understanding things and processing through this time. And today I wanted to make a sigil to kind of connect to those good memories and holding on to those good memories. Because I think we all have good and bad within us, and so therefore we always have like good and bad memories of people. And I think towards the end of life especially, it's good to hold on to those good memories that you have. And so I wanted to create a candle and a sigil that would connect to that that specific memory. because of that memory, Orion has always been kind of a very special constellation for me. When I was a kid, I picked it out right away. I loved the mythos of it with Artemis and the Great Hunter and her brother getting jealous and sending the scorpion after him. And I just always kind of was intrigued by that. And then this memory with Dad kind of cemented it as one of my most favorite parts of the night sky. So with this sigil, what I did was I took, of all things, I Googled real quick, symbol of Orion, and a generic kind of sigil popped up with the hourglass almost box body of the constellation with an arrow coming out of it. So I used that as the base to symbolize Orion. And then the cross part coming through was also part of that base sigil work. And then I added the star in the middle kind of as the connector. A lot of this deals with connection. So you have the star connecting through, but still radiating light. So the connection of this constellation not only connects through, but it also guides and guards and kind of gives that illumination, which leads down to the infinity symbol with the heart, eternal love, infinite love, understanding, compassion, all those good things. To the top of this kind of star illumination, you have kind of a stylized arrowhead pointing up with insight, the eye of insight. And for this, I wanted this to be something where looking over all the past, looking over all events, you can kind of gain the wisdom that you need. You can kind of shift your perspective to see and remember the good and see and remember what matters. Because a lot of times we get bogged down by the bad. And I think it's good to know the bad. It's good to keep hold of the bad. I in no way am trying to erase or say it's good to erase bad things or things that wrongs that have been done. But I think it is good to kind of keep your perspective and see through illusion and kind of be able to identify, wow, this was really a bad time, but this person wasn't a bad person, if that makes sense. And of course, there's always those circumstances where, you know, there's Stockholm syndrome and toxic relationships and all that stuff. So in no way am I condoning anything like that. It's more of a mundane, a mundane thing to kind of look at someone and see so much black and white. I should rephrase. You want to see things in black and white sometimes. It's better, it's easier to understand and process, but there's a lot of gray. So I wanted the eye of insight to kind of reign over and wash over all of this so that the sigil would be bringing that insight and perspective through to kind of guide through the gray, if that makes sense. And then coming from the arrow, which of course the arrow is part of the hunter. It's a weapon. It's for survival. It's for it is a symbol of death in some ways, but it's also a symbol of action, of motivation, of determination, perseverance. So it can be a very positive symbol as well. So from that, again, I have this infinity symbol kind of coming through here. And on either side, we have the hearts. And surrounding that, we have the maiden and the crone moon phase. Symbolizing not only the goddess, but also the passage of time. So again, just kind of this infinite love energy coming through again. So even through this symbol that brings about death, you still have this cycle of love and this understanding that that's infinite. Here we again kind of have a connection to the moon, the phases, the passage of time surrounding the constellation. And then out of, again, working with the number of 3, I love working with the number of 3 for the goddess, as well as the trifold god, warrior, father, sage, I believe. So working out of the 3 areas of Orion that aren't being used as that focal, we have a root system, again, symbolizing connection, groundedness, centeredness. Again, kind of reining in all the emotions that are in here to a bit of reality, because just as we want to see through all the gray to see what really matters, I think it's also good to have a grip of reality and an understanding of reality, and not give in to kind of blind hero worship, or elevating people to a pedestal that they not only shouldn't be on, but also they wouldn't want to be on. Turning it again into the personal inspiration of my father and I. My dad's always been very big on, I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of that. And part of it gets into, okay, are you trying to kind of be a martyr and a bit of a guilt tripper? Because that can be a thing. But he really isn't about grandeur and, or at least in the later years of his life, he wasn't about grandeur and kind of putting on these airs. He was very much steeped in reality, even through this most recent decision. So I wanted, roots not only are good for connecting and such, but I do connect them to that grounding in what reality is. And then down here, on the candle, probably in the Theban alphabet, I haven't decided quite yet, but I do love the Theban alphabet. I have a lyric line from the song, Orion's arms are wide enough to hold us both together. That's the beginning line of the song. And I thought that was a beautiful line and a beautiful concept, and really spoke to what I wanted this sigil to represent. But also, it's kind of what the constellation represents, because the constellation itself is about Artemis, and I think this is true of all constellations, actually. When you get into the mythos, a lot of our constellations are thought of to be these actual people or heroes or villains or what have you that were given to the heavens so that they could be looked upon by those that love them, or remembered, or perhaps a warning or a harbinger. So it's something that there's always that connection. Someone decided to put Artemis put Orion up into the sky so that she would always have that connection to her dear, dear friend. And they would always be together. And so I really liked that symbolism as well, so that even if someone were to purchase this candle, they wouldn't need to have this story of mine, because I think everyone has that person in their life who they want to remain connected to, and they want to have in their life. And that's what the sigil is really about, is making those connections and knowing that those connections are stronger than any passage of time. So that is the Arms of Orion sigil creation. Thanks, guys. Bye.